Hello there friends, siuhy here. In today's video, CEO of G2 spills the tea on what's been happening behind the scenes. S1MPLE's getting back in shape, literally. IEM Melbourne playoffs, and a bunch of other exciting news from the world of CS2. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. And we shall kick off today's video with one of the biggest stories from last week, a coaching change at Virtus.pro. This time, Finn is joining the squad. You might know him for his time coaching Gambit and Vision. He's fired up and ready to get to work with the team. And on Monday, they're heading into the bootcamp to prepare for PGL Astana. This whole thing seems promising. Here's a fun fact: even though Finn's been around the pro scene since the early 2000s, this major will actually be the first in his career. GamerLegion also shared some news about their coach. A couple of days ago, they posted a short teaser on Twitter hinting at something involving Ash. Immediately, fans started speculating, like, was Ash about to leave after so many years with the team? Did G2 or FaZe buy him out? But it turned out much simpler. Ash signed a new contract with GamerLegion, and the org congratulated him on hitting the 5-year mark. Considering that he will stay with the team until late 2027, it's possibly the longest coaching contract in CS history. And since we're already talking about coaches, we couldn't skip the latest comments from G2's CEO, who revealed a lot of interesting details. For example, he said that they picked Taz as the new coach because G2 mainly needed someone to boost the team's vibe. According to the CEO, they didn't need a tactical coach at that point. The team already had the experience, firepower, and set plays. So Taz, who had trophies in his locker room, was the perfect fit. The CEO also admitted that things started falling apart right after IEM Sydney 2023. After getting knocked out of the tournament, they got 3 big hits. Niko was in talks with Falcons, Cloud9 were interested in M0NESY, and Vitality were after Hunter. So G2 was shaking from the inside, and something had to be done. Unfortunately, the first mistake was kicking JKS after the Australian event. The CEO said it happened because instead of trying to fix team issues, JKS decided to spend time with his family, which he rarely gets to see, because they basically live in Australia. And you can imagine how hard it is to travel here and there all the time for JKS. But blaming JKS for that? I don't know, guys. The CEO also said that before kicking JKS, they supposedly asked their whole team for their opinions. But according to M0NESY, Niko, and siuhy, no one actually asked them. At the end of his speech, the CEO asked people not to hate him or Pekka, saying, "We're all human and we all make mistakes." He added that Pekka doesn't make decisions alone. The CEO also made it clear G2 never planned to sign S1MPLE, saying basically that S1MPLE was out of shape and no tier 1 org would sign him. What's funny about this whole situation is that the community didn't hold back. Analysts and personalities were also pretty skeptical, pointing out that eyewitnesses shared very different stories. Also, former Cloud9 manager Sweetie Potts joked about how M0NESY was almost sold to Cloud9 for about the same price as the 3 full Aurora rosters. And right in the middle of all this drama, there's Ocelote, the ex-CEO of G2 and one of their major shareholders. He's just chilling and watching G2's stock price as it goes up with every scandal. Ocelote said that G2 is one of the biggest esports orgs in the world. Before we move on to the next news, let me tell you about CSGO Fast, as they're turning 10 years. CSGO Fast is the oldest and most trusted website in the history of CS skin games. Feel like Gaben is unfair to you? On CSGO Fast you can open tons of profitable cases and pull that dream skin you've always wanted. They've got a huge variety of games, including intense case battles. You can even invite a friend and win together. Surely you all love raffles. CSGO Fast runs free raffles every 6 hours, giving away skins to random participants. Plus, they regularly host special events. Right now is their 10-year anniversary, just look at the prizes up for grabs. And if you're a true CS veteran, you already know the community has trusted CSGO Fast for years. That's why they have a loyalty system for regular users and a ranking system with extra bonuses. Do I even need to mention skin prices? You already know they're awesome. And if you don't want to deposit, no problem, you can always use the referral system to earn points. Use promo code CSGO News Live to get plus 10% to your deposit and a free case. The link will be in the pinned comment. We've already talked about conflicts between management and players. Now let's dive into the conflicts of interests at Blast Austin Major. A lot of them come from players having investment ties to their former teams, like for example Elige with Liquid or Art with Furia. Another type of conflict comes from bonus agreements, like the ones between SUSP and MOUZ, and also between ZTR and MOUZ. And finally, there are conflicts around player loans, for example 9pandas and BB Team with the loan of Kairon, Liquid and MOUZ with the loan of siuhy, and even a conflict between Bait and NAVI over the loan of NPL. I guess Blast just wanted to make it public so everyone would know, and, you know, to keep the esports integrity. Speaking of NAVI, recent insider reports suggest that there's a real chance NAVI will make some changes soon, maybe even more than one. The most interesting part is that it's not Wonderful who's likely to be replaced, it's Alexi B. Apparently his tactics just aren't working anymore together with Blade. A lot of people have pointed out that NAVI has a really strong lineup, but over time cracks can start to show, and that's exactly what's happening now. For example, they didn't even make it to playoffs at IEM Melbourne. And while we're on topic of NAVI, we just have to talk about their former star, s1MPLE, who is already back to grinding for the new season. Instead of partying, he's now focusing on fitness and spending a lot more time working on his aim, and that's amazing to see, my friends. Analysts are already hyped up for his comeback. For example, Anders believes that not only s1MPLE will return, he will also make it back to the top 5. Zeus also shared a heartfelt message of support, saying that s1MPLE has been through a lot, but now he's working on both his mind and his body, which makes him even more admirable. Friends, aren't you excited to see s1MPLE back in shape? Write your thoughts about his return in the comments below, and maybe name a team he should join. Although another CS legend is going to his roots, this time Scream, who recently jumped back to CSGO. After playing, he came to a pretty sad but honest conclusion: CSGO is still better than CS2. Scream hopes that one day CS2 will be as polished as the older version, but for now it's still playing catch-up. Just a reminder, not long ago Scream announced that he was tired of Valorant and planned to return to CS, but he's still teamless. But my friends, there's definitely one person who is not planning to come back to CS, and it's Automatic. He decided to step away from esports completely and focus on golf instead. He even launched a new Instagram account, where in his first video he talks about how he made the switch, and now he's sharing clips of training sessions. You know, they say golf is a sport of rich people, right? Guys, I have to apologize for sounding differently, but I had to switch my device. Now let's talk about IEM Melbourne playoffs. Here's a quick reminder: Falcons, GamerLegion, the MongolZ, Liquid, MOUZ and Vitality made it to the final stage. In the first match it was Falcons versus GamerLegion. Last time Falcons managed to beat GL even without M0NESY in their lineup, but this time the match ended way too fast. On the first map, Tessis went absolutely insane.
Niko next on the chopping block as GamerLegion break through this hole. Can Tessis turn the tide? So it seems like honestly getting flashed back out. They're so blind, they're stuck in the side, and Tessis finds 4 out of 5.
He pulled off 2 quadros in the first half alone and finished with a 1.87 rating. Then on Nuke, it was M0NESY's turn to shock the crowd with his quadros. So in the end, as you might have guessed, it was an easy win for Falcons. Then it was Team Liquid versus the MongolZ. The match started on Anubis, Liquid's pick, and things looked really rough for the MongolZ. On the T side, they just couldn't get anything going. They only managed to win 3 rounds and already knew it was pretty much over. After the side switch, the MongolZ tried to fight back. They even won the pistol and the force, but in the very next round, they threw away a 4v2. Liquid closed out the map after that. Next was Ancient. Here, the MongolZ did a little better. They picked up the first 3 rounds, but Liquid bounced back and took the lead. Still, by the end of the first half, the MongolZ grabbed momentum again. After the side switch, Liquid only managed to win the pistol round, and then the MongolZ just completely ran over them. On the decider, Inferno, both teams fought tooth and nail. Liquid actually started pretty strong on the T side, but once 910 got his hands on the AWP, it was game over. The MongolZ pulled ahead with a 2-round lead and looked ready to close it out, but then siuhy and Ultimate pulled off an insane 2v5 to keep Liquid alive. After the side switch, Liquid tried to mount found a comeback, and Twists led the charge. First solo winning a force buy and then clutching a 1v3 in the very next round.
Twist has got one. Does he place the incendiary correctly? He has. It's going to bounce into Techno. Twist, this would be incredible, impeccable. Does he clear his corners? He's RVD!
But even that wasn't enough, because the Mongols held strong, and eventually they won the map. Guys, what do you think? Liquid did great or not? Write your thoughts in the comments below, but now let's move to the first semi-final, Falcons versus MOUZ. The match was supposed to be close, but well, something just felt off right from the start. After the score hit 2-3, it's like MOUZ just shut down, turned off, you name it. Falcons easily grabbed 5 more rounds in a row. Yeah, at one point Imp had stepped up with a quadro, but by the halftime the score was already 9-3 in favor of Falcons. You can guess what happened next. Falcons just easily closed it out. It didn't get any better for MOUZ on Nuke, because they only woke up at 1-5 when Insertion managed a good backstab, but even that didn't help much.
Flash to tee him up for this fight. Kicksam finds another. M0NESY came close in the clutch last time. Can he stick the landing the second time around? Bomb out in the open, and that's the info. M0NESY knows where both players are. The alarm bells are ringing. Jimmy's feeling the pressure. Swinging out. It's all M0NESY.
The first half ended with a 1v2 clutch from M0NESY, and Falcons were up 8-4. After the side switch, Spinks tried to kickstart a comeback, even winning the pistol round, but it wasn't enough. Falcons closed it out 13-6 and moved on to their second straight tournament final. After the match, Cycron, the coach of MOUZ, admitted that Falcons came in with a totally different energy, and MOUZ gave up way too much space on the map, which cost them the game. And here's a crazy stat: Falcons didn't let any team win more than 6 rounds on a single map during the entire playoffs. But there's one team that could stop them. It's Vitality, obviously, but first they have to go through the Mongols in the second semi-final. Before the match, Techno4K said that they were really close to beating Vitality the last time, and he believed in his team. And now, my friends, let's see if the Mongols could fight the Bees. Well, to be honest, Techno4K might have overestimated his team a little. The Mongols couldn't even plant until it was 9-0, and their first round came at 11-0. After the side switch, the Mongols fought back a little. They won the pistol round and the force one, but that's about as far as they got. Next up was Nuke, and things didn't get any better. Vitality were winning everything. Didn't matter how many players they had left or what kind of buy they were on. For example, Robs just casually pulled off a 1v3 without any trouble. The second map also ended 13-3, and Robs finished the series with an insane 2.21 rating across both maps. So now it's set. Vitality, the still undefeated, will face off against the new-looking Falcons in the grand finals of IEM Melbourne. Will Vitality lift the Grand Slam trophy? Can Falcons beat the streak of Vitality? I guess we're about to find out. And that's all for today, my friends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, follow our channel, and drop by in the comments below. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time, my friends. See you soon.